This is our system that we created, and I'm going to demonstrate a few tasks that a user might try and accomplish when visiting our new website. The first one is someone who would visit the site and potentially want to request a quote so that she can budget her purchases. Now, someone would come to the homepage and they would look around and they'd be like, oh, I'll request a quote button. I'm going to check that out. So they would click it, and then we set up a form that is very simple, and it allows a user to fully understand what they would want to fill out. So we're just going to do a test. Her name is Carol Smith, really generic. She's from Walmart. And so the user would just fill out their information, and then they'd write, hello, I would like information about, I would like information for how much 50 parts would cost. And then they would confirm that they are not spam, because that's very important. And then they would submit, and it's sending. And then they get confirmation that the request to quote was sent and that someone will contact them once they receive the form. The form is sent to a separate email at the company, and it is forwarded to the president of the company, and he responds to all of them. A second task someone might want to accomplish is finding out what kind of products and capabilities that this company could complete for them. So they would look at the menu, which is right at the top, and it's a sticky menu, so people can always find it. They would select products, and once they get on the page, they can see all of the products, and they can get close-up images and see all the details and the different size options that are available. You can use keyboard keys to navigate through them, and they can either decide to call or contact or load more, or they could go to the capabilities page and see what types of systems they do, and what kind of projects they could complete. So that way they could either fill out a form and get information, or they could just straight away call. Another task that someone might want to accomplish is contacting them to find out some more information. So someone would visit the homepage, and they could either scroll around, and after they get to the bottom, be like, oh, hey, I would like to talk to these guys. So they could either find the phone number right there or the address, or they could hit the contact button down at the bottom, or we also have it regularly in the menu. So someone can visit this page, and they would be able to see, oh, this is where I can fill out a form, or you can just see the Google Maps and they could get directions, or we just have the phone number and the address again, so that way it's very easy to find. So we're just going to say that this person wants to find out information. Her name is also Smith. And she or anyone is able to find out information very easily. I would like to know more about cost of product. And it's just a simple form, and once again we have the anti-spam, and then it sends, and then it says, thank you for contacting us. We'll be in contact with you shortly. So this way they know that the form was successfully sent, and this prevents people from resending more forms than they need to.
So I'll talk about technical design of our website. We decided to use WordPress as a content management system just to make content management easier for everyone. A lot of what we did was we worked on a lot of custom CSS to make the website work the way we wanted. The original theme that we purchased was good, but there's a lot of small stuff that we wanted to change. For example, the menu bar was originally located along the bottom of the header, and we moved it up to inside the header. Just a lot of like small CSS stuff like that we decided to work on. We also did a lot of work on mobile responsiveness using media queries. As you can see right here, a lot of it makes the website responsive to when you move it into like a mobile view. Because like the original theme, the footer was a lot like messier with in mobile view. We also used we used a Google API to create the map on the contact us form, as you can see shown here. Here you can see where we did most of our custom CSS within our website. We tried to keep everything commented nicely and keep the code nice and organized, so that way it's easy to go back in the future and edit it if it needed. Because a lot of the WordPress generated code is kind of odd, it's hard to tell what exactly each part might do. So that's where the comments really come into place.
Things we did to test the tools and methods that make the system continue to work was go through as we created the forms and the website to make sure that all the forms work. So as you can see, we have a contact us form here. So we made sure that all of the fields worked and the I'm not a robot CAPTCHA worked. We submitted sample forms and made sure they made it all the way to the email like they were supposed to, and we get confirmation that they did. Another thing we did was check all the buttons and links to make sure those work. So all the drop-down menus here and all the buttons on the homepage and the request a quote button, we made sure that all of those links worked, that they brought you to the pages that you were looking for. Things we did was make sure that the site was responsive, especially that it worked on mobile phones, and made sure that it was optimized for different devices. We checked this through looking at different modes on our computers, resizing the windows, and making sure that the website still worked while we viewed it on our phones. One of the ways that the users can maintain this and to make sure that the testing continues after we hand off the website is through checking the contact forms every once in a while by themselves, submitting sample forms, just clicking the buttons, clicking through the menus, and resizing the windows and testing the website on their phone, just like we did to make sure that everything is still functioning properly. Our project was creating documentation. This is a section of it that you can see on the screen here. Things we did to create a documentation alongside the Agile project management principles were to talk about how we, specifically in our group, adopted the Agile principles to best fit our needs. We did incorporate aspects of Agile, such as like user stories and planning things and kind of doing our own version of the daily stand-up. But that said, we also did take things like the other principles, such as the daily stand-up or the daily scrum, and took those things to best fit our schedules. So one of the things that we did was we, instead of literally standing up in the beginning of class every day, we just communicated via email, we communicated in person. We just made sure that we were working with what worked for us. We weren't super strict, and it was common to share our updates with each other on major things rather than sharing things every single day. We met face-to-face during class meetings. We didn't meet virtually, but we utilized email and group chat and Google Drive documents to communicate virtually. We found that this worked really well for ourselves and our group, and we found that our documentation based on these Agile principles turned out pretty well, in addition to just adapting everything to work for our group.
Training portion of our video. This is kind of a special circumstance because Lauren has a special relationship with Trotter Manufacturing. Lauren's going to be handling the website after the site goes live, and we're not creating any training materials as of now. If Lauren needs to hand off the site to someone else, that's when the documentation will be created. That documentation will consist of building and editing pages, updating plugins, keeping the WordPress site up to date, the WordPress version up to date. And if we are to give another user access, Lauren's going to figure out what level of access they can have. If there's any security issues, major security issues, Lauren will handle that. For the security part of our video, even though we aren't handling payment information through the new website, we will still need to protect any user data submitted via our contact form and through our request a quote form. There isn't any high-level information that needs to be protected, names and emails, but in the future, if the site ever accepts payments through Trotter Manufacturing, we might want to invest in an SSL certificate. If that's the case, Lauren is planning on setting up an SSL if it's within the budget for the website. We would use the plugin Really Simple SSL, which is one of the best rated plugins, and it's one of the most widely supported ones as well, and that will help us implement the SSL certificate. To protect from spam, we activated a plugin called the Keysmint. This plugin helps prevent spamming the website and is something that comes pre-installed on all WordPress installations. Fortunately as well, our contact forms have a Keysmint already built in. To help prevent spamming, we are using Google CAPTCHA. Setting up was pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. You just register via the site, Google, and obtaining keys to activate their spam blocking service. To fill out the contact form or request a quote, the user must click a checkbox, which is right down here, that says, "I'm not a robot." The cool thing about this is after a few minutes on this contact page, it'll actually require you to enter it again, which is another layer of security. A few other things that we're doing for security is making sure that we're up to date with the latest version of WordPress. A lot of hacking can go on when you're not up to date on the latest version. We also went ahead and deleted any unused plugins, since plugins can add to security threats. So if you aren't using a plugin, there's no sense of keeping it installed. Once the site is live, Lauren will have administrator access. If anyone needs access to the website, or if she ends up at some point handing it off to somebody, she's going to determine the level of access that they should have, and also requiring that passwords are changed every 3 months, and that will help out overall.
Okay, well, now I'm going to talk about the sustainability of our system that we created. So some of the features that will support ongoing content management is that we have a lot of really useful plugins and extra features that will help the system. So we have a Keysmint anti-spam plugin, which will update the system manager if there's any major issues. We also have connected Google Analytics, so this way they can continue to monitor the usage and the user interaction with the new system and see what they can improve on in the future from what we already created for them, and that they can get notifications from there as well. And then we also have a new security plugin called Security, which does a lot of work with like malware and scanners and all that other fun security stuff. As for the person that will be taking responsibility after we are done with this project, that will actually be me, Lauren Trotter. Because this happens to be my dad's website, it's a lot easier for the system and for me to just take responsibility for it, because trying to get my dad to focus enough and actually take responsibility for it is something that would not happen very easily. And he also doesn't have that big of a company or a set aside IT computer person. So there isn't really a role at the company right now that would fit, this would fit under their responsibilities to watch over the site. So basically, I will be in charge of watching it. Like I said, I have alerts set up. I get emails anytime a plugin needs to be updated, a theme needs to be updated, anytime a new user is created or a password is changed. So this is very helpful because I might not necessarily be able to go on the site every day, check the back end, but these emails will tell me when I really need to get on there and manage any issues. This is also good because I'm familiar with the system, because I've been working with the team this semester in creating it. So we don't have to teach anybody new to make it or provide them with pages and pages of documentation, saving trees. I'm familiar with how to change pictures or content or menu structure, all of that fun stuff I know how to do. And I also will keep managing any security issues. And like I said, I'll get those emails. So I'll be able to manage any issues that come forward. And I'm planning on at least showing my dad how to log into the site, and he's kind of gonna tell me, and if other members of the company want changes to the system, they're pretty much gonna go through him, and then it'll come to me. Just because my dad is the president of the company, he's also very busy, so he doesn't necessarily have time to make little changes to the site when I could just go in there, and it could be a small change, and it would be a lot faster for me to do it than trying to teach someone else to do it. So I think our system has pretty good sustainability, and I will continue to manage it and work on it even after we are done and I've graduated.